What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the JuniorMarkets YouTube page. Today is a topic on retirement. Now, I know I did a previous video on retirement, but I just did a thing with EdwardJones where they talked about a lot of different retirement strategies. So I was going to go over some of the ones that I found, as well as some of the ones that they found, so we can kind of get the best of both worlds. See what I'm saying? So first up, if you go to my Junior Markets website, which will be linked under the video, we have a whole retirement page where I talk about what kind of options you have, how to open an account, where to open an account, all that type of stuff. And it's pretty easy to go through. You can see the top 3 most used accounts, which are IRA, Roth IRA, a 401k, which is through an employer, or a high yield savings account, which anyone can do. I have separate tabs on all 3 if you want to go over whichever one it might be. I talk about how much kind of money you should be putting away, but a lot of the people that I try and tailor my website to and my YouTube videos is younger investors, like 20s, 30s. Feel free to watch this if you're in retirement too. But it's a lot of younger people, and so some of this stuff might not apply. Like 20% of your income into a savings account might be really difficult when you're like me and you have to pay rent and all that type of stuff. But it's never too early to start saving even $50 a month into a Roth IRA if you're at this stage of income, similar to me, because a Roth IRA, your contributions are not tax deductible. Like we see here, they're not tax deductible, but any earnings growth is tax free. And qualified withdrawals are tax and penalty free. So when you finally reach that age of retirement, that'll be better for you than right now. Oh, let me get that off the screen. And that'll be better for you right now if you're currently in a high tax bracket and you make contributions on a pre-tax basis. So if your income is below a certain threshold, then you pay no taxes until you withdraw money. So that'll be better if you have a higher tax bracket, but a lot of people that I try and tailor this to won't. They'll have a lower tax bracket, so a Roth would be better. And then I go through all the contribution limits, the distributions, all that type of stuff. I made a video about this earlier. Now, what I haven't made a video on is a 401k, which I kind of go over some basic stuff, but a 401k essentially is a government or a employer savings account where they can offer matches, and it's essentially a savings where they take some of your paycheck out and they just put it immediately into a savings account. It's a TSP for government officials, but most people know it as a 401k. And then I have traditional and Roth 401ks, contribution limits, because the contribution limits change every year with inflation and all that type of stuff. And then if we go into what I think is one of the most beneficial ones, a high yield savings account. So some of the uses, what a lot of people use them for is savings to cover 3 to 6 months of your expenses in case of an emergency, or just, I didn't know I could do that, or just overall just using it to save. Like I use mine instead of a bank. I also have a bank account where I keep money that I'm going to spend, but most of it is in the high yield savings account because they have a lot more interest than a bank account, which I talk about here. And so if you ever have questions about some of the best fits, hit up the reviews page, and I have some high yield savings accounts that I find are the best. I currently use American Express, but I also use American Express for my cards, so that just kind of makes life easier. So looking over all this retirement stuff, that's what I kind of have on my website. I have a few videos on this, but let's hop into what EdwardJones was talking about when, oh, hold on, there we go. What EdwardJones was talking about when I was watching them. So this is kind of my retirement slide. So this was the first slide that they showed us, which was approximate retirement savings by age. Now they don't have my age obviously on here, or most people that will be probably watching this, their age, but it is nice to start. So this essentially means that anything you have before this is just a great thing to help it grow, because exponential growth and compounding interest are the keys for this retirement. And so moving on into saving, some of the things they talked about was how much you should have saved your retirement. So things like maximizing your employer matches on your 401k, because some companies will, if you put in 3%, they'll put in 3%. So it's essentially just free money, increasing your contributions to keep up with inflation. contributing to multiple accounts like a 401k and a Roth and a high yield savings account to make sure you have accounts for everything in case of any type of emergency, taking advantage of catch-up contributions, backdoor Roth IRAs, which is pretty cool because you can't contribute to a Roth IRA if you're above a certain income level. So what people do is they contribute to a traditional IRA and then they convert it over into a Roth IRA, so then they get better savings when they take the cash out in retirement. It was a pretty cool process if you want to look into that. Another thing they talked about was charitable stacking, which is kind of cool. So kind of what is charitable stacking? In simple terms, it's kind of a strategy where you combine or stack several years worth of charitable donations into one tax year. So rather than spending them out annually. So this allows you to kind of itemize deductions that may exceed the standard deduction for that year. So that could potentially lower your taxable income. So it's especially useful for tax cuts and tax deductions and stuff like that. So essentially how it works is, let's say you normally donate $5,000 each year to your favorite charity, whatever it may be. And if your total deductions, including those donations, don't exceed the standard deduction, which is $27,700 for married couples filing jointly in 2024. And for singles, it's probably half that. So you wouldn't get the full tax benefit from your donations. But if you stack donations by contributing $15,000 in 1 year instead of spreading them out over 3 years, then you may be able to take more deductions. So it's taking more advantage of your taxes. So it's best for retirees or those planning for retirement who make significant donations and who find themselves hovering in a standard deduction limit. So if you're looking to reduce your taxable income, especially if you're taking withdrawals from your IRA or your 401k, then this can kind of help you manage all of that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. And then, so that's kind of the basis of this video, is going over some of the things I have on my website, the retirements, as well as some of the things that EdwardJones mentioned was most important for retirement. So these are all things that you can look into to help you prepare. As always, go to my website. I talk about all this stuff, all the type of things you need to look for, some of the websites, where you can open them, all that type of stuff. So thank you for watching, and I plan on uploading another video on reports and stocks later in the week. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for watching this one. It was kind of a quick one, but it was just literally an overview of what we go over.